So now that you know how to set up the program, let me show you how to draw something. I'm going to draw the Lewis structure for the carbonate ion. If you can't remember the carbonate ion, it's CO3 2 minus, and you want to subscript the CO3 and superscript the 2 minus. You can also use this icon in the text menu. This is telling the program that you want to set up a formula. And so it automatically subscripts the 3 and it automatically superscripts the -2. So when I'm doing CO3 2 minus, how many electrons do I have to play around with? Well, if you do the calculation, you have 24 electrons. So I have a central carbon that has, I don't know why it did that. Let's superscript that again. So I have a central carbon that is surrounded by 3 oxygens. So the program, of course, doesn't know that whatever the central carbon, the central atom is a carbon, so you kind of have to tell it. So I'm going to come back over here to the text tool. When I was drawing things, you just draw by holding down the left mouse button, and then when you're done, you just let go. So it's pretty intuitive. When you get close to the center here, you'll notice that the icon changes because now it realizes that you don't want to just type text. Now you actually want an atom label. So this is a carbon. And then it's bonded to an oxygen. If I double click now, it automatically puts in an oxygen. It will remember whatever the last atom label is. Now, I'm just going to make this a little bit larger, just so it's a little bit easier to see. When you're drawing Lewis dot structures, you might remember that you fill in the surrounding atoms such that they all have an octet. So where do you get your lone pairs of electrons? Well, they're actually right here in this submenu. So here's the lone pair of electrons. You could, of course, just typed periods, but that gets tedious. So I can have a lone pair of electrons anywhere I want. And I can rotate so that they're not just horizontal. However, if you just click on the atom itself, or if you get close to the atom, you notice it gets highlighted in blue. And now it's realizing that you want to put the lone pairs on that atom. So there are all of my surrounding oxygens with an octet. I have used up all of my electrons. That's 24 electrons. But when you notice, the carbon does not have an octet. So in order for it to have an octet, you have to use one of these lone pairs of electrons. So I'm going to erase one, and I'm going to form a pi bond between the oxygen and the carbon. So you may have missed how that happened. I just typed in Command Z to erase my last action. I started on the oxygen. Now I hold the left mouse button down, and when the carbon gets highlighted, I let go. Alternatively, I can erase that bond. And now if you look, the program's like, wait a minute, neither one of these has enough bonds to it, so you must want hydrogens. I really don't want hydrogens. If I double click there, it automatically puts the pi bond there and gets rid of those hydrogens, which can be annoying. The last thing to do is to add in my formal charges. Each of these two oxygens needs a -1 formal charge. That's going to get me to my 2 minus charges total. Formal charges are here. I like to use the ones that have a little circle. You don't have to do it that way. Once you have this structure, I can copy this structure by hitting Command-C or coming up here to the Edit menu and copying it. And I can paste it into all kinds of things. So for instance, I can paste it into a Microsoft Word document. Or I can paste it into an email. Like that. The only thing that I haven't been able to figure out how to do is I don't know how to paste it into a Google document. But that's a minor problem. So you can save this document. You can transfer structures in between different documents. So we'll look at some organic structures in the next video.